I want to thank my friend Mr. Oberstar very much for that, and I yield to the gentleman from New Jersey. Thank you.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Oberstar, thank you very much. These circumstances are difficult. It's more than 5 years that we're into the global war on terror, and since the horrific attacks to our country on September 11th, we're fighting a faceless enemy, an unbelievably ruthless enemy, an enemy who is undeterred in their hatred for our freedoms and our way of life. We must remain strong in our resolve to defeat the enemy, and it is no accident that our nation has not been attacked since September 11th. It is not because the enemy and its supporters have not wanted to bring destruction to America. It is because we as Americans have remained committed to the defense of our homeland. It is because we have remained vigilant in working with our international partners to prevent terrorists from being successful. And it is because mostly of our brave men and women in uniform who have taken the fight to the enemy. Likewise, our commitment to our troops on the battlefield, whether in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever the global war on terror may take our brave men and women, must run deep. Our commitment must include that our soldiers have all the necessary equipment and armor that they need. Mr. Speaker, I come to the podium today very troubled. For 3 days, the majority will have us debating the very critical issue of the war in Iraq, but this debate is really without real substance. This debate is without an alternative strategy that many of us acknowledge we desperately need to be discussing. And this debate will not bring about one positive change for our men and women in harm's way, but rather likely result in exactly the wrong message to many of our soldiers, our partners, and avoidably the enemy. I believe this debate is dividing the Congress. I believe this debate is dividing the American people and sending the wrong message to our soldiers in the field, who may question our unwavering support on their behalf. I continue to be awestruck and proud of the valor of our servicemen and women in Iraq. However, this debate sends a mixed message to them, their families, and the families of those who were lost in the global war on terror. We could have and we should have had a debate that sends a strong message to support our troops and their commitment, but the majority has chosen against this. While I do not support the President's latest strategy, I believe the American military should not serve as a referee in the sectarian conflict that has lasted for centuries. It is the responsibility of the Iraqi government to take a stronger role to set benchmarks and not let the American military and our forces be caught in the middle. This resolution is silent in its requirements to the elected Iraqi government and to the Iraqi people, and holding their own destiny in their hands. As a member of the Armed Services Committee, I've listened to the generals and military experts, administration's officials tell us that Iraqi forces are ready for greater responsibility in securing Iraq. However, after being to Iraq 5 times myself and talking with a number of soldiers in the field, the reality on the ground is that Iraqi forces are not being used to the extent that they should at this point. I think that needs to change. I would like to also say, Mr. Speaker, that is with great regret that I will not be here at the conclusion of the debate this week. Unfortunately, my father-in-law passed away to a battle with cancer, and I will be heading out to the funeral with my wife and the family. But I wanted to be on record before leaving as to what this critical motion means. This debate cannot and should not be the end of what we're talking about. And for the reasons stated before, all future debates must be substantive on policies. It is clear to me the majority has a strategy that many have talked about that reflects far beyond just the surge in Iraq and what it may mean, but has implications for funding. Mr. Speaker, let me make it perfectly clear. I support the troops, but on the basis of the message that this is sending to our partners, to the troops, to their families on this non-substantive resolution, I cannot support it. And I will close by saying that I received a call from a father who has 2 children that are in Iraq. One felt so strongly that he sent a letter to our local newspaper. It's specialist Matthew J. Smith of Hopewell Township, and just a few excerpts from his letter. I personally feel as if I am here for a great purpose and a goal that our Commander-in-Chief had ordered us to achieve. I have never felt it would be an easy task, nor should those at home living a comfortable life feel it's an easy task. Have we forgotten that this great country of ours was not handed to us on a silver platter? I'm asking everyone, please don't allow those of us who have died to die in vain. When we have completed the mission and we have been successful in defending freedom, then we will come home. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.